as the title implies, trigger warning. There is use of expletives in this story. So, I'm a teacher, much to my mother's chagrin, and it all began one day in 2010 when Benjamin Rexroad had me come to view his class that he was teaching in North Hill for Weathervane. He was doing an after-school program teaching theater to these kids, and he was certain that I would not only get along with the kids, but that I would be a good teacher. So he finally convinced me to come, and he wasn't wrong. I loved it. I mean, I think he was also showing me off because I could do some really cool tricks and the kids were totally impressed. But it was my first experience seeing what it would be like to interact with kids at a young age now with me as an adult. Well, fast forward 7 years later, now I am a teacher, among many other titles. I recently was awarded my sub-teaching certificate, and I have been subbing in the Stark County district in the preschools. And it's my return to the preschools because I actually taught there for 3 years full-time from 2012 into about like the end of 2014. And this story has to do with that time period. I'm sure any of you know, being a teacher, you have good stories every day. The kids are natural storytellers and natural story makers. And it was no exception being a preschool teacher. Now, I didn't just become a preschool teacher because that was my degree. No, in fact, I had gone on this road trip after college graduation, and Benjamin and I were talking about, what can we do next? What is there? You know, yeah, okay, we're doing theater, but how the hell are we gonna make money? And as chance would have it, my friend Tyler Hodges had just gotten a job as a full-time lead preschool teacher in Twinsburg. And so I congratulated him, and he said, well, hell, you should apply. They got openings. And I had a long conversation with Benjamin because I said, well, I don't have a degree in early childhood education. And Benjamin said, nah, look there, it says all you need is a degree in anything. I said, so a degree in political science will give me a job as a preschool teacher? Looks that way. So I went, I applied. I got to come in to observe. They liked me, I liked them, I joined. Small anecdote, first week on the job, one of my young children that I was to take care of contracted Shigella. For those of you who don't know, Shigella is a very, very bad virus. It not only is easily infected, especially easily passed in preschool children, but also it has a long staying power. So if you get Shigella, you are on the toilet as a 4-year-old, and you're going to be on that toilet for about 7 days. And that's what happened. Almost half the center ended up leaving my first week because they were all sick with Shigella. Welcome to preschool. Now, while I was there, I had the opportunity to be a lead teacher, to be a co-teacher, and to float. And floating is tough because you're basically responsible for doing whatever someone needs, whether it's wiping someone's butt, or grabbing some paper towels, or filling in the classroom. My favorite thing to do, though, was to take the students who went to a second preschool out to the bus. These were usually students who maybe had some sort of developmental or speech delay, and so they would get dropped off at our center, and then they would go to a public school preschool for about 2 hours, and then they would come back. And so my job was basically to grab those students, get them out to the bus, get them on, and then when they returned, get them back. My favorite student, and I'm going to change his name for the sake of the story, is called Adrian. And Adrian, he had language developmental delay. And so he didn't speak a lot of words. And the ones he did were mostly curse words. Yes, it was always a humorous conversation with him. His favorite phrase was, "Shut up, motherfucker!" loved that phrase. Now, most of the expletives that he said, he didn't really know or understand that well, so he would just string them together in nonsense whenever he would get angry. Be like, bitch, motherfucker, bitch, bitch, bitch. All right, well, you know he's throwing a tantrum. So it was my responsibility, though, to calm him down when I would come to the classroom to get him to go out to the bus. Now, he's 3 years old, and all he knows about the bus is that it's really exciting to go and ride and see all of the trees and the buildings on the way. So that excites him, but really it can be difficult to get him out of the classroom where he's engaged to the bus. We had a trick. He loved his backpack. He could do that thing where he would flip it over his head, and he loved to do that and show off and be like, yeah, cool backpack. So that was our way of getting him to go. We'd be like, oh, Adrian, it's time to go to the bus, but guess what that means? It's time to do your flip with the backpack. And he loved it, loved it. Now, Adrian did throw a lot of tantrums. And oftentimes, they would be expletive-filled, but again, just nonsense. And these tantrums usually ended by getting him out of the room and calming him down. For some reason, he seemed calmer with men than women. And there aren't a lot of men in early childhood education. That's like sighting a unicorn. You're like, oh my God, a male teaching preschoolers. And we have one here, so everyone look at Tyler. There's a unicorn. So one day, I was heading to the classroom down the hallway to pick up Adrian to go to the bus. And I was still about 100 yards away, and I could hear it. The expletives were flying. Motherfucker this, motherfucker that, motherfucker. I opened the door timidly, because I don't want to get hit by anything, and he is throwing things. There's little plastic eggs flying everywhere. There's spatulas. There's a clipboard. Woo, it's getting dangerous up in preschool 1 today. So I head in because I'm thinking maybe I can calm him down. And the teachers are like, oh, we can't do anything. He just hit this little girl and we can't do it. Can you just take him out of the classroom? And I'm like, oh, I'll grab his backpack and we'll get him outside. So I was able to convince Adrian to come outside with me, and I did have his backpack in tow. And before I could get it on, I knew I had to calm him down. So we sat down against the wall, right against the classroom. And I started talking to him and trying to ask some questions to figure out just how he was feeling and whether we could get him to take a few deep breaths. And he starts stringing together that favorite phrase, shut up, motherfucker, shut up, motherfucker, shut up, motherfucker, motherfucker, motherfucker. All right, Adrian, we need to just take a deep breath. No words for a second. He's still not having it. So I decide, all right, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to hand him his backpack, and I'm going to watch him do that trick, and that's going to totally divert his attention. He's going to be ready to go. So I do. I hand him his backpack, and he picks it up, and he stands up, and he lifts his backpack high above his head, and he slams it to the ground, and he says, shut the fuck up, you motherfucking... I had only ever heard that word in rap songs. So, the door opens. One of the teachers peeks out and goes, did Adrian just say what I think he said? And I said, if you think he said the thing that we're not supposed to say and he's not supposed to say, then yeah, that's what he said. Well, I thought I was still going to have to calm him down. He was pretty angry, but I guess my reaction calmed him down. He started laughing. He grabbed his book bag, he did the flip thing, and he said, all right, motherfucker, let's go. And I took him to the bus.